Good morning guys. In today's video we're going to be installing windowsill boxes, and as part of that we're going to talk a little bit about what plants to use, what sort of different considerations or things you need to think about when installing your windowsill boxes. So windowsill boxes date back to the actual ancient Roman times, and the idea is you're basically just doing a box or a planter underneath the windowsill where typically you grow like flowers or herbs and things. And it's a great alternative for when you're maybe running out of space, as I am here in my vegetable growing space, to get a few extra plants in and potentially brighten up an area that's maybe not looking its best. Now, to be clear, there are loads and loads of different ways you can install a windowsill box, and what I've gone for today and what I'm going to show you in today's video is the simplest way to do it. So if you're not particularly DIY savvy, this video is for you. So without further ado, these are what I've installed. Now, these here are the actual windowsill baskets, and you can buy them from sort of garden centers or any sort of almost department sort of home store quite often sell them, and you get different materials which we'll come on to for this stuff here, the sort of coir hold. I've also got this one by my door, and it's the exact same concept, although slightly different here where it's got the sort of mesh wire in place. Now, in terms of installing them, it's pretty simple. The first thing you're going to want to do is mark out two sort of holes where you're going to be able to attach the metal bracket onto the wall. Using a masonry drill, you're going to drill the holes using wall plugs, make sure you secure them in, and then basically just screwing it into the wall. Once you've done that, it's quite simple, really. You've just got to then put back into place these sort of coir sort of mat or sheet. And there are different materials with different kind of almost what I would call sort of water retention properties to them, which is something to maybe think about depending on what plants you're going to do. And we'll talk about that in a bit more detail in a minute. Once you've done that, it's then basically filling the basket with your growing medium. Now, that's either going to be compost or a type of loamy soil. The main thing I will say with these is because you haven't got like a hard bottom and it's all very porous, making sure you've got a high sort of water retention compost is key. And there is one secret I'll talk about now for that. So the secret is, and it's probably not much of a secret to most experienced growers, but it's something like this Fertigel here. So all it basically is a sort of fertilizer and little gel crystals, which when exposed to water, they expand and store and hold the water on for longer. And I'm running a little bit of an experiment between my two beds, one where I have put the Fertigel in and one where I haven't. And what I'm seeing is that one of the baskets that has the Fertigel in, sure enough, it stays a lot more sort of damp for longer. And I think maybe the plants look a little bit healthier, but it's not necessarily a straight side-by-side comparison. But because you've got that really rapid, sharp draining of the sort of coir material on the baskets, I think something like Fertigel, especially in some of the hot summers where we're starting to have and things, definitely worth considering. And they don't cost very much. It's only sort of £2 or £3. So well worth, I think, picking up if you're gonna look at doing a windowsill basket like the one I've got. So once you've sort of set up your baskets, you're going to want to select your plants. Now, one really obvious plant here is petunias. These are really sort of classic, and this is a trailing variety, which hopefully as the summer goes on will trail down and really fill up the space and give it some sort of structure. Another one is lobelia, which is a really good one because it just profusely flowers on and on and on. And then obviously you've got these sort of ivy-leafed geraniums here. Now I think this is a semi-trailing variety, so we'll sort of trail out a little bit. And the same one here, which hasn't actually put on any flowers yet, but there are signs of flower buds coming. Now, all of these are quite thirsty ones. So this is the basket that has the sort of gel crystals in the extra fertilizer. So hopefully in the summer, this one won't be too bad. Now over here, I've got similar plants again. This is just a sort of, I think, a semi-trailing petunia with little white stripes on it, which I think is quite nice. And this one in here is Nemesia. Now Nemesia, again, you're looking at it's a bit like lobelia. It's just going to flower and flower and flower forever and ever and ever. However, over here on this side, because I had the plants spare and things, I've got an oregano, or oregano, as I think the Americans would say, and a rosemary. Now, these are obviously Mediterranean style herbs that like the dry sort of arid conditions and things. And I thought that would be perfect for growing in one of these sort of windowsill baskets that has that really sharp drainage. So those are your sort of two options, really. You can go for obviously the big flower, the tried and tested plants like this, or you could maybe cater the basket for things that maybe are going to sort of thrive on quite sharp drainage, maybe quite poor soil and things like that, and see how you get on. So I hope you like this sort of short video on windowsill boxes. And if you're looking to sort of add a splash of color to maybe a bare wall or maybe an entranceway and things, I think they're a great option. But my big thing to consider, and hopefully I've explained it well in this video, is think about the drainage and things. It's very sharp drainage and they're going to need lots and lots of watering. But I think you can maybe lessen that by using things like a good quality compost or the sort of Fertigel crystals. And if you like this sort of video, don't forget to like and subscribe.